grew up on a farm in central Illinois, surrounded by miles of corn on 3 sides and a gravel road on the 4th. At night, once the wind died down, it got so quiet, you could hear your own heartbeat. That night in late August, my parents had already gone to bed when the dogs started losing their minds. We kept 3 hounds chained near the edge of the field, mostly to scare off coyotes. They barked sometimes, but this was different. High-pitched, frantic, almost panicked. I tried ignoring it for a few minutes, hoping whatever spooked them would leave, but the barking only got worse. Eventually, my dad yelled down the hall for me to go check on them. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped outside. The air felt thick and damp, the kind that clings to your skin. The moon was out, but it didn't help much. The corn swallowed light. As I walked toward the field, the dogs pulled at their chains, whining and barking straight into the stalks like they were watching something move. "Hey," I whispered, not wanting to wake anyone else. "Settle down." They didn't. One of them let out a sound I'd never heard before, a low, trembling growl that made my stomach tighten. That's when I heard it. At first, it was subtle, something brushing against dry leaves. Then came a heavy step, not quick like a deer, not light like a raccoon. It sounded slow, deliberate, and uneven, like whoever, or whatever, was walking didn't move quite right. I froze and shined my flashlight into the corn. The beam cut a narrow tunnel through the stalks, showing nothing but rows of pale green and shadow. The footsteps stopped. I stood there for a few seconds, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. Then the dogs started barking even harder, pulling back as far as their chains would let them, eyes fixed on a spot about 20 yards into the field. The footsteps started again, closer this time. My heart was pounding so loud I was sure whatever was out there could hear it. I took a step back, and that's when I noticed the corn moving, not swaying with the breeze, but parting, slowly, as if something tall was pushing its way up through the rows. The flashlight beam shook as I aimed it higher. Something rose above the stalks. It was tall, way too tall. Gray, smooth, and narrow, like a silhouette stretched wrong. I couldn't make out a face, but I knew it was looking at me. I felt it in my chest, like pressure. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then it leaned forward. The sound it made when it started running is burned into my memory. Corn snapping and tearing, heavy footfalls pounding straight toward me. Fast. Back then, I ran track. I knew how fast people could move. This thing covered distance like it didn't care about the ground beneath it. I dropped the flashlight. I turned and ran. I don't remember my feet hitting the dirt. Just the feeling of cold air ripping into my lungs and the sound behind me getting closer. I expected to feel something grab me at any second. I screamed for my dad, my voice cracking and useless. I burst through the back door and slammed it shut, locking it just as my parents came running. I tried explaining between sobs, but the words sounded stupid, even to me. My dad grabbed his shotgun and went outside while my mom held on to me like I was 5 again. He came back 10 minutes later, pale and quiet. He said there were deep tracks near the dogs, pressed into the dirt like something heavy had stood there for a long time. They weren't animal tracks. They weren't human either. We didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, the corn where it had risen was flattened in a wide path leading straight toward the house, then stopping abruptly, as if it had decided not to finish what it started. My parents told neighbors it was probably a sick deer or someone messing around. No one laughed, but no one had a better explanation either. We moved the dogs closer to the house after that. I stopped going outside alone at night. Years later, long after I moved away, my dad admitted something he hadn't told me back then. When he was standing by the field with his shotgun, he heard slow footsteps moving just beyond where his flashlight reached, pacing him along the edge of the corn. Whatever it was never came out again. But sometimes, when I drive past fields at night and see the corn standing perfectly still, I swear I can feel it watching, waiting for someone else to step too close.